Let me ask you a question. What happens when you take a video game franchise, make the first game so cute, lovable and happy, and then make the sequel dark, badass and unbelievably awesome? That's where Ratchet and Clank 2 Going Commando enters the scene. To those of you who don't know, Ratchet and Clank is Insomniac Games' well-known franchise on the PlayStation 2, after they left off from Spyro the Dragon on the PlayStation 1. The original Ratchet and Clank wasn't just your generic 3D platformer with collectibles, but it was both a platformer and a shooter combined into one. And after the success of the original, the sequel, unlike other sequels out there, made a complete change to the series and added more than just weapons. So let's see how well this game compares to its prequel. The plot begins with Ratchet and Clank being interviewed by Behind the Hero after defeating Chairman Drek in the first game. They are then recruited by a CEO of Megacorp, Mr. Fizzwidget, who asks for their assistance in recovering a stolen biological experiment from a mysterious thief. Ratchet is then equipped with more weapons and a new armor suit to begin the second adventure with Ratchet and Clank. Like I said, the gameplay for Ratchet and Clank 2 has dramatically changed. You still have weapons, the Omi wrench, and clank on your back to glide, hover and get to certain locations. But the biggest addition to the series is the nanotech. What is the nanotech? It's a leveling up system in which, depending on how many enemies you kill, Ratchet will gain a new health piece, and whatever weapon you're using, if you kill a countless number of enemies with that weapon, it will level up to a more stronger weapon. Now this is awesome! Every planet you go to, there's always a number of missions or tasks for you to complete that will help you continue the story or obtain more collectibles. Speaking of which, the collectibles in the game are bolts, just like before, that you can use to buy more weapons and armor. I have to say, the weapons in this game are more creative and more memorable than the ones in the original. Nearly every weapon in the game is fun to use. If I had to pick my favourite weapon in the game, it would be the bouncer, because it's a bomb launcher that releases a bomb that explodes into small bombs to finish off your enemies. That's epic! The game also has gadgets that can help you get through certain obstacles and platforms, like the swing shot, which returns from the first game, and there are new ones like the dynamo, which creates platforms for you to jump on, and the tractor beam, which moves blocks out of your path. There are also puzzle-like gadgets like the electrolyzer, which you can use to make sure little spark balls get into tubes, and the infiltrator that you can use to connect lines through a sphere. However, the game doesn't always just focus on shooting, platforming and puzzles. There is also space combat in the game where you can control Ratchet's ship and you have to take down a certain number of enemies that come out of nowhere, some racing stages where you can win a few prizes, and my favourite part of the game, the gladiator battles, which later appear in other Ratchet and Clank titles and also made into a whole game as a spin-off. These battles are the perfect place to upgrade your weapons more and for you to win a large number of bolts and new gadgets. There is also a desert level in the game that is completely non-linear, and you can collect crystals to earn more bolts. They also made Clank a playable character again, who has now two types of gameplay. The first type of Clank's gameplay is where you can control him and command little gadget bots to do several types of commands, like attack, wait, make bridges, move obstacles out of your way, and so much more. The second type of Clank's gameplay is where Clank is giant and stronger and you can have a big robot fight. There are also some areas where you'll need to do some rail grinding, which can be very difficult. You also have the ability to customize your weapons, armor and even your ship to make them more stronger. If there's another favourite thing I have in this game, it's the comedy. Even though it's not as funny as Up Your Arsenal in my opinion, there's still a lot of falling off cheering and laughing on the floor moments I had with the humour in the game. And not only that, they also have a few references, including this in particular one.
Sorry.
Best reference ever! Anyway, the visuals and level designs in Ratchet and Clank 2 have greatly improved from the original. Usually in a game that's non-linear, there's sometimes a little issue with the designs called graphic pop-up, but not in Ratchet and Clank 2. Where you enter a level, there's always a great view of the details of backgrounds in each level. The levels themselves still feel as dark as they were in the original, but there are other levels like the Megacorp level that feel bright and vibrant. Each level in the game feels really lifelike, which makes you want to explore every bit of the planet, and the music for each level makes it more intense as you go along. With all those great things though, the game is still nowhere near perfect. There are a few nitpicks I have about this game. First of all, these racing stages. I know that I said in my Jak and Daxter review that I heavily despise racing stages and platformers, but I have to nitpick about it again. The AI in these stages are frigging cheap as hell, as they always bump into you to get past you. Plus there are times when you'll crash into a wall which can easily cost you the race. But these levels aren't as frustrating as the space combat levels. I swear, these levels just love to put me in agony because they are just frustrating as heck. The AI always shoots you from behind, and they repeatedly do that, and it's the only chance you can get to shoot them down. Another part of the game I need to mention is this 2D platforming part here. What you need to do is avoid getting pushed off by these blocks that come out, but sometimes the blocks get higher that you need to find another way to get over them before you fall off. It was horribly annoying. Overall, if you've played a lot of platforming games with guns, but you haven't tried the Ratchet and Clank series out yet, I strongly recommend you do so because it is just that good. And this game, Ratchet and Clank Going Commando, is what changed the entire franchise forever. With kick-ass weapons, unpredictable storyline, addicting features and solid platforming, this is a well-made sequel. That's why I give it a bag of chili heatwave Doritos, meaning awesome game, worth playing. This has been Zookstar1000 aka Mark with another review. Like what you've seen, feel free to leave a comment. See you next time.